Hi, today we'll be going through a 2006 movie titled Stay Alive. The movie begins with a guy walking inside a scary-looking abandoned building, and at every point he turns, he gets greeted with a scary sight. He sees a ghost, then he hurriedly runs, but alas, he gets captured and hanged by a rope to a chandelier. Suddenly, Game Over pops up on the screen. The guy was playing a game known as Stay Alive, and his name is Loomis. Feeling very nervous due to the game, he called his friend Hutch to come over so that they would play the game together. But Hutch turned down his invite and told him that he would come during the weekend. Feeling frightened, he made his way gently upstairs to his friend's room and gently opened the door. He then saw Rex and Sarah having sex, with Rex putting on a scary mask. He said, "Hey, I saw you playing the game not long ago," but they told him that it's been a while and he should close the door. So he left them and went back to his room. But while sleeping, he got haunted by the game he had played and woke up alarmed. He was getting himself so well, so he went downstairs to drink water, and then he started seeing traces of people. He began seeing ghosts, sensing someone was around, and become very scared. He was so frightened that he ran quickly to Rex and Sarah's room, but on opening the door, he was shocked at the sight he saw. Rex and Sarah were dead. In shock, he moved back, but the ghost was already behind him. The ghost then tightened his neck with a rope and he got hanged to the chandelier, the same way he had died in the game. The next morning at the office, Hutch was with his boss Miller when he heard the sad news that Loomis is dead. He was shocked and very sad, and then he went to his house and he met the Loomis family. A lady whose name is Angela took his pictures and said that though not a tear dropped from his eye, he had the saddest face, and Loomis' sister Sandra gave him the brother games that she isn't interested in. At night, Hutch heard some faint noise and walked gently to the door, but he was scared, but he saw that it was his friends that had come to visit him. October and her brother Phineas, Swink, and Abigail had also come. To pass the time, they decided to play the game that Loomis had played, Stay Alive, and they played with Miller, who was alone at the office. To begin the game, they said some words that they would forever regret, which go thus: "The prayer of Elizabeth, come to me clouds. May you rise as an evil storm born to rip them open. Let the cover of the night bear witness and destroy those who resist, so they shall harm me not. Let the blood of many cleanse me, preserving beauty eternal. I pray for you." The game opened, but I told them that they had been marked for death and they would soon die for their words. They were taken to the George plantation of the late Countess Elizabeth from 200 years ago, and the only way they will survive is by uncovering the horrible truth about the plantation and stopping the evil. Seconds later, they got attacked by a ghost and were rewarded with a rose that could help them in surviving. They then went deeper into the abandoned building, took the game as fun, and kept killing ghosts that chased them. Minutes later, Miller got attacked and stabbed by a ghost, so they decided to call it a night, hoping to continue the next day. But Miller was kind of scared, and while walking in the office, his fear increased when he kept sensing a person present, and then finally, the creepy ghost stayed at his back. But he turned and didn't see anything. He, Janice, and while inside an office, the ghost suddenly appeared and stabbed him in the throat like in the game. It was game over for him. The next morning when Hutch got to the office, he saw Miller's wife and some other people, and then he got to know that Miller had died. Detective Thubido spoke to him trying to get some information from him because Hutch had chatted with Miller a few hours before his death. Hutch replied, but he wasn't happy seeing that Miller had died as well. When he got home, his friends comforted him and they all stopped playing the game except Finn, who told them to leave him alone. Then Hutch thought about the coincidence and felt maybe it was more than a coincidence, which Swink supported his idea. And they all ran to meet Finn, but they met him sleeping, and when he woke up, he told Hutch that he has been too wounded by the unfortunate events occurring. While carrying out of their daily activity, they all kept hearing and seeing strange things that aren't real. The ghost was haunting them. Then Hutch searched online for the death of his friends, and when he had confirmed his suspicion, he showed them his discoveries. They were killed the same way they had died in the game, and October supported him because she had often heard the Countess stories from the grandmother, and the evil woman had said that she would come back soon. This got them scared, and October quickly called her brother Finn, who had just escaped an accident while driving. They told him that they would come over to meet him. And then Finn stepped out of the car. He noticed that everywhere was dark, and suddenly it all looked like he was in the game they were playing. All of a sudden, the Countess' carriage came out of nowhere and ran over him, and he died. They arrived at the scene, but it was too late. Finn was dead already. This made October weep bitterly, while the others remained very sad. They weren't safe either. The police came over and Hutch tried explaining the game to them, but they didn't believe him. Instead, one of the policemen signed up for the games, and Hutch quickly stopped him, but it was a little bit late. The policeman was skilled in the game. Later in the day, the policeman went to a game shop and tried gathering some information about Stay Alive, but he got none. And he went back to his car, but sadly, he got killed by the Countess in the same way he had died in the game. Hutch and Abigail went to Loomis's house trying to get some information, and they saw the address of the company that had built the game, so they called Swink and October. They both shared their findings, and October informed them that to kill the Countess, 3 nails must be stroked to her forehead, neck, and chest. But while talking, the police came over to arrest them, and they ran away before they would get to them. All of them met up at Loomis's house and continued searching for a way out of this deadly game. Then Abigail noticed that the game had started playing by itself, and the target was October. When Octobet was, she as well noticed some strange signs, but she was determined to kill her brother's killer. She entered the building, and alas, the Countess appeared at her front. Then October summoned all her courage and began shooting the evil woman. Suddenly, October got hung upside down to the ceiling, and the Countess took a sharp object and sliced her throat. Sadly, Hutch, Swink, and Abigail got there late and met her struggling to breathe, and then she died. The 3 panicked and thought of a way to stop this occurrence. So they went to the Countess' house, and Swink started playing the game so it won't start playing by itself. Hutch and October entered the house and parted ways to search each part carefully. They were scared but walked gently, observing each point while Swink continued playing the game, and he helped them to get some information and guided them till he got to the house's backyard. While Abigail entered one of the Countess's rooms and was very scared, any slight noise made her scared as she checked the room. And then suddenly the Countess attacked her and she began screaming. Hearing her screams, Hutch ran back to the house while Swink helped him out and they saved her. The Countess disappeared when he entered the room. While speaking to Hutch on a call, suddenly the game started playing once again and the car door got locked. Swink was nervous and he entered the car by breaking glass, then continued playing the game, but suddenly everywhere got dark. The game was playing in reality, and Swink got scared, then ran out of the car into the bush, but the Countess got down from her carriage. Suddenly, game over pops up as Hutch and Abigail got to the car. Swink was found dead in the game. Abigail and Hutch were scared but tired of their struggles, and they gathered so many roses they could find which could protect them and 3 nails. They went to the backyard, and once again, the Countess was in her carriage and chasing them. At a point, Hutch locked Abigail in a room and used a rose to save himself from the Countess. Feeling relieved that they were both saved, they hugged each other. Then walked around the house, and a lot of ghosts started hunting them. They ran away and saved themselves with a rose. But while doing this, suddenly a door shut and they got separated. Abigail couldn't take it any longer, so she began crying and told Hutch to save himself, but it wasn't what he wanted. He gave her the last rose in case she was in danger, and he checks the room he was locked in. Hutch saw a bed in the room and he went closer. Alas, it was the evil Countess sleeping on the bed, so he brought out the nails with shaky hands and nailed them to her chest and neck. While Abigail was crying profusely as she tore the last flower on the rose, then suddenly she was attacked. She began screaming in fear, but later got hanged with her leg to the ceiling, and the Countess was about to kill her when Hutch finally nailed her forehead. So she disappeared from Abigail's side and woke up from the bed. The evil woman stood up from the bed and was about to attack Hutch, but he took the laptop with him and showed it to her, making her scream because she hates looking at her image in the mirror. Swiftly, he took a lighter and set the house on fire, but this made him scream in agony because it reminded him of his painful childhood experience when he was locked up in a burning house. Swink then entered the building. Fortunately, he hadn't died, so he came and saved the both of them from the fire, leaving the Countess to burn in the fire. Finally, they were free and they went out of the house with Hutch taking a last glance at the house where they had experienced so much. Days later, the video game shop owner saw the Stay Alive game disc and went ahead to play it. He said the words, thereby casting himself into eternal doom. The end.